Take a good look at that. We added just a little bit more oil so that way we could get both sides cooked evenly.
And a good deep fry, right?
Right.
A good deep fry.
I'm telling you, we've got an audience of grandmas watching today. We left out Tissy a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
She's watching.
Of course, right? So Tissy and Granny are probably watching together today. I had a conversation with Tissy and Granny both in the same room. We had a conversation the other day about two things. Catfish, fried catfish is one of them.
Right.
And then we had fried shrimp was the other one.
Okay.
And of those two things, Andy, we decided that we were going to try to lighten those things up. Try to make them a little bit more healthy, right?
All right.
So that's what we're doing right here. So as soon as I can, I'll be cooking this particular dish for both of them.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so fancy. All right, so now what do we do? There's a bunch of goodness on the bottom
look at this. All this beautiful stuff we got in the pan. So our coconut flour, we got a lot of great flavor in there with our seasoning from our friends over at Salt. We're going to drop in a little lemon juice. See how that starts to kind of deglaze
that's just
a
gonna
little
pull
bit?
that right on up.
Look at that.
Yep.
So the juice of one whole lemon. Obviously with my other hand, I'm just catching those seeds because nobody wants to eat that, right?
Well, we appreciate you looking out for us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Then I'm going to throw in some of that zest. And I just rough chopped this zest. I actually took this off with a knife, not a zester, because I want to keep the integrity of the zest, right? Just like that.
I didn't know that we were worried about losing the integrity of our zest, but I'm glad that that's a thing now.
A very small amount of chicken stock, right? Look at that. Now that's going to
what is the fancy word? We call it deglazing, but what's the fancy word for it?
Deglaze is actually the fancy word, but what we're trying to do is lift the fond. So the fond off of the bottom, that's what we're trying to lift off right there. And this is going to actually create a pan sauce, or a julie, as they say.
Okay.
And that pan sauce is what's going to give us really a great flavor profile once we put it back onto the top of our catfish.
So how did we know that the catfish was done? That's not something I think that we cook often in the kitchen. We don't cook a whole lot of catfish.
You're right. So any kind of a white fish. Catfish is one. Tilapia, cod, halibut, a little bit thicker, the halibut and cod, but like tilapia, catfish, things like that, haddock, we want to make sure that we put a good hard sear on both sides. In doing so, the heat's now coming from two different sides, and the carryover heat, once I removed it from the pan to rest,
it continues.
That carryover heat is going to cook us through, but not overcook, because nobody wants a dry fish. We want it to still be flaky on the inside. But then here's what we're going to do. Once we have this sauce beautifully down, we're going to add this back to our sauce.
To finish the cook.
To finish the cooking process. Okay?
And meanwhile, we've already got our rice done, so we're going to be doing that plating up in just a moment.
Yep.
How are things? You got, what do you have on your schedule these days over at 1949?
You know, we're just staying busy. We're getting into our wedding season, so we're doing a lot of tastings for weddings right now. Okay. If you've got a wedding and you're planning that coming up, or anything in the summertime, we're already booked out through about June.
Good night.
So let's start booking June. If you guys have something coming up summertime, a little bit later in the year, let me know, for sure.
Right. Well, Rocky, we appreciate it. We're going to put that back on the heat, and we'll be back to plate it up right after this quick message.